Hey everyone, it's time again to recap the latest news from the solar PV industry, compiled by the American Solar Energy Society. I'm Jay Warmke with SolarPVTraining.com, and this is what's happening in the wonderful world of solar for the week of July 26th. During the first quarter of 2026, solar and energy storage combined to account for 91% of all new electricity generation capacity added to the U.S. grid. This represents the highest collective quarterly share ever recorded for the two technologies. Wind generation represented 5% of grid generation additions, and natural gas contributed the final 4%. Collectively, wind and solar represent 96% of all new generating capacity, the highest percentage for renewables ever recorded. In May 2026, monthly electricity generation from solar resources exceeded generation from coal for the first time in U.S. history. No new coal generation has been added to the U.S. grid since 2013. While solar accounted for a negligible fraction of the national energy mix a decade ago, it now supplies approximately 13% of all power consumed from the grid. Texas's electric grid operator ERCOT expects to break power demand records much of this month, but unlike past summer hot weather spells, the system appears to have ample capacity to manage the peak load demand. The record-breaking electricity demand comes as triple-digit heat returns to Texas. The spare capacity on the Texas grid is largely from solar and battery storage systems that have been added in recent years, creating a significant buffer between normal operating conditions and emergency operations. When the previous all-time demand record of 85.5 gigawatts was set on August 10, 2023, it significantly stressed the grid, and Texas narrowly avoided widespread blackouts. But a lot has changed since then. Total generating capacity now is between 87.5 gigawatts and over 113 gigawatts, depending on seasonal availability. Despite the historic load demand experienced last week, ERCOT did not have to issue any conservation appeals or experience significant blackouts. Solar provided between 35% and 45% of all electricity on Monday and Tuesday of last week. It produced equal or slightly more energy than the gas-fired power plants, which make up the largest share of ERCOT's total power generation capacity. Another example of how renewables are coming to the rescue during recent summer heat waves. On the evening of July 9th, the California's battery fleet discharged a record 13 gigawatts of power. That's more power than New York City consumes on a hot summer day. At peak, batteries covered 36% of energy demand across the Casio region. Evening hours is historically the hardest moment for the grid, but batteries that had been charged during the day when there was ample solar energy available were able to meet peak demand by spreading the stored power out into the evening hours. California's utility-scale storage capacity has scaled dramatically from roughly 1.3 gigawatts in 2020 to over 17 gigawatts today, allowing the grid to absorb excess daytime solar and deploy it after dark. AP Systems has launched its dual module microinverter specifically designed for do-it-yourselfers and the balcony solar market. The newly introduced EZ1LV microinverter aims to streamline decentralized small-scale solar deployments by offering a true plug-and-play grid connection without complex electrical work. Designed exclusively for applications such as balconies, gardens, garages, and carports, the microinverter allows a direct connection into a standard household wall outlet, drastically reducing installation time and lowering barrier adoptions for renters and homeowners alike. The microinverter has a maximum continuous output power of 900 volt amps and connects with two PV modules simultaneously to accommodate today's high-powered large format solar panels. Each input channel supports PV module power ratings ranging from 315 watts to 660 watts. For off-site monitoring, the microinverter directly connects to the home's Wi-Fi, transmitting production data to cloud servers that can be monitored on your phone. And solar panel manufacturer LONGi has announced power conversion efficiency of 35.5% for its two-terminal crystalline silicon perovskite tandem solar cell, setting a new world record for that technology. This surpassed its previous record for a similar panel of 33% efficiency that was certified by NREL back in June of 2025. LONGi has also been developing larger area tandem devices aimed at commercial markets. And that is the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you next week.